What's up everybody, my name is Coach Socks and welcome back to the channel. Previously, for some reason, I didn't have my camera set up so you guys could see what's in my hotbar. I'm no longer autistic. Shout out to everybody else who has autism. I swear I have it. I took a test. So in the last episode that nobody seems to care about, I built up this toolsmith for my freaking toolsmith. So right now he's big chilling in this dirt. Okay, he died. So, oh my God. He actually died. All right, so big homie decided that he wasn't messing with us anymore. So we have to go get a new one. So with that death, that's 2 villagers dead now. So this gives us an opportunity to talk. This is episode 10, and we've been building in this world for about 2 months now, which is really, really crazy. The world's coming along very nicely, I think. And today we are working on, I think it's gonna be like our most expensive build to date. Not in the manner of iron or diamonds and stuff like that, just in the plethora of materials that we're gonna need for this build, which is an apothecary. And we've officially made it to the village. Look at that. Come on, dude. Okay, there you are. You're gonna walk to this thing. You're gonna get in that little cart for me. Come on, over there, please. Yes. Yeah, this is, this looks so ridiculous. All right, let's go. All right, while Buddy is zooming, I actually found out what an apothecary was in between episodes. Apparently, like a pharmacy. Who would have guessed? So I'm thinking for the apothecary half of this build, this is where we're gonna keep a lot of our potions. And then for the greenhouse, we're gonna keep all of our plants. No, he's back. All right, no! Chill. Okay, let's go. Shut up and kiss me. Just a little bit further, bozo. All right, so let's keep this guy in a box. Hopefully he does not suffocate. I'm not really sure what happened to the last guy. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. All right, so he should stay in there perfectly. But as I was saying, the barn has been really good to us for storage. We're just running out of space quickly with all the new materials that we're gathering as we go in this world. And I figured the greenhouse portion and the apothecary portion of this build will be a really good spot for us to keep like kind of like odd items to use, such as like our nature themed items and then like maybe the brewing stands and whatnot. And I thought there was a villager over here. Remember that guy over here? He's moved on to bigger and better things. So in between episodes, I've been quite busy terraforming this land, smoothing it out, taking out a bunch of trees, and working out the logistics of how this build is going to really fit into the theme of the world. Like I said, it's going to be really wacky compared to like really anything else we're going to be building because the roof of this is going to have purple in it. And that's a really odd color for me to be using, considering what we just built in the background over there. It's really dark, gray, white. Maybe that's why you guys don't like it, but who cares? In between episodes as well, I also found this bad boy, a name tag. I found a zombie spawner not too far from here. I think it's like 1,000 blocks that way. And so that means we can actually do like a zombie XP grinder at some point really soon, I'm thinking, because it's been kind of tedious going down into the mines, using diamonds to heal up my tools and armor and stuff like that. Even though I have mending on them, I don't really have any way of really fixing them other than using diamonds to repair them, which is kind of annoying, but that's just what we've been doing. Where's my bed? Where bed? Okay, bed over here. But what this name tag really means is that I can go finally get our camel from spawn and bring him over here and finally give that dirty little fella a freaking name. My mom said Cutie Pie. Somebody said Skip, I think, and somebody Carlito. I don't know what's going on with them right now, but those are the 3 names I think we had. I don't know. Also been kind of working on the starter base a little bit, just cleaning it up. So if we go down here where our mine shaft is, I kind of did the walls up a little bit. So it increased the size of the lava farm. It's super fast now, so every time I'm down here, there's at least 7 or 8 ready to go. And then I upgraded the furnaces on the other side as well. So we upgraded the room, and now we have plenty of room to smelt. One last thing before I start the build and show you guys what we're building with in this episode, I want to go over today's comment of the day. Skibbity. Comment of the day 3 says, okay, if you are the Coach Socks, we are the student feet. This comes from Adve Galat. Okay, that was from my 2,000 subscribers post on YouTube, like community posts where you can kind of like tweet things out. And basically I was asking, what you guys, my subscribers, should be called. If I'm Coach Socks, what should my like subscribers be called? And he said student feet. That actually really made me laugh when I read that. So thank you, Adve Gallet, for that one. Put a smile on my face. All right, so if we come over to the build site, these are some of the build materials that we're gonna be working with in this episode, and also all the plants that I have available to me right now. I don't have every single one that I really want to put in here, but we're gonna work on that throughout this episode. So with that, I think the greenhouse is gonna go on the right side of this area over here, and then the apothecary is gonna go on the left side. And I hope I have put enough space over here. I think I have. Kind of big. It's not the biggest build in the world, but it is kind of sizable. The greenhouse, I wanted to make sure that we had enough room to walk inside to plant a bunch of different plants, and so whenever we see it from afar, we can actually see all the different plants that are inside of it. I wanted to be sizable as much as I could. Granted, we don't have everything that we need, but I still think it's gonna look pretty cool. And I almost got away with doing a whole intro without it freaking raining. But guess what? I didn't. So with that, guys, I think that's a really good sign for us to start the build. Let's go. Oh baby, this build is turning out really nice. And I was really worried because it's primarily all glass, and then we have a lot of purple in the build as well. Get a little sneak peek over there, okay. But I think it's looking really, really good. And it's the first time I've actually worked on the interior at the same time as I've worked on the exterior. And that's because we actually have a really easy interior to work with for this one, because it is so small and it's primarily nature. But it's looking so good. I mean, look at this. Oh my God. So if we come on over in here, there's a side entrance, and oh my goodness, so many colors, so many particles. Oh, we're stuck. We're missing a couple of flowers, which is why we have a couple of blank spots. But the progress on the build is coming together really, really fast, really easy. Building up greenhouses isn't terribly difficult. It's really just a rectangle with a ton of glass. And the roof shape is pretty much the same for whatever design you end up going for. The one last detail that I would like to put inside the build is bees. Maybe 1 or 2 beehives to kind of keep the crops going, give it a little bit more life, even though it really doesn't need it because there's so much plant, there's so much color, there's a lot already going on in there. I do think it would be a nice final touch for the build. So I'm going to go ahead and build up the first layer of the apothecary, and then we will meet up right after that. I honestly can't believe that nobody liked this build. This is one of my favorite builds that we've done so far in the world. But never mind that build. We're working on something new and a little sneak peek right behind me. So let's go check it out. So the apothecary part of this build is sort of like 3 levels. It's got this one level right here, another level just like it, and then the roof kind of starts above that. This first level, I'm trying something a little bit different with it. I have a lot of strip spruce already in the world, so I wanted to try and mix in some regular spruce on these walls right here. I am considering unstripping all of it. That sounded weird, didn't it? And having it all be dark instead of this lighter spruce color that we see right here. Was trying something new with this railing on the left side of the build. We have lecterns, trapdoors, and then strip spruce kind of going all the way up. And it kind of looks cool from afar, and up close it doesn't really look like much. But just kind of like looking back at it from over here, it kind of looks like a really cool detail, so we're gonna keep it for now. The one part I'm kind of unsure about, and that's definitely a theme you guys are starting to notice early on, you know, in my Minecraft career, posting on YouTube, is that I get a little unsure sometimes. See, in Minecraft it's kind of hard to like reinvent. Oh my goodness. I thought this was gonna be a really cool shot, and it's really messing up the whole vibe. Oh my God, get me out of here. What I was trying to say is it's kind of hard to reinvent the block in Minecraft or reinvent new things in the game. Unless you're like super creative and have a really keen eye to, you know, new details and whatnot, then good for you. But that's not us. So trying new details like that one, just a little simple railing on the side. I think it looks really cool, but to some people, it could look really stupid. So if it does look really stupid, please let me know. And if we just want to go with like a stone pathway kind of leading up, totally fine. I don't care. Inside, this is what we're looking like so far. Nothing too crazy. This is pretty standard size for, you know, an interior. I think the mud is going to look really nice on the other side. I'm not sure if we're going to eventually like open this up and have it connected like this, or it be its like own separate entity almost. Like it's 2 buildings just kind of like smushed together or what. With that, guys, the roof is done. I'm just kidding. The roof is not done, but more of the build is looking pretty snazzy. I think you guys can see the vision. I think it looks really, really good over there. It fits the theme of the darker grass quite a bit. It actually kind of looks like it's supposed to be there. One of the things I want to point out is that I do have this, staircase going up to the side of the build. I don't have a door design yet because we don't need to go in there, and that's totally fine. We don't want to rush perfection. But I think this is showing you guys my vision. I've got good vision, guys. I swear to God, I do. You can trust old Sockie Poo. My vision is really good. So please don't forget to hit that like button. I swear on everything, man. I'm sorry. Anyways, the build is looking really good. The second half of the build is looking great. It's looking fantastic. I got the copper rods in there. I got the uneven lanterns, the little sweetberry bushes. It's all looking really cool. On the roof, it's gonna be purple, and we're gonna have a couple of windows jutting out of it. It's gonna look great. Now, I really do like the idea of having mushrooms in this area over here, because this is probably gonna be the most fantasy like area in the world. But overall, the world is definitely more medieval than it is fantasy. So if we're gonna have a fantasy corner, it's gotta be over there. And I think some crazy freaking mushrooms would look so good. They would look so good. I need to go sleep. But there are tons of great mushroom concepts out there that we could definitely go with. And we could go pretty crazy with it if this is going to be our designated fantasy corner. I'm totally all for that. That sounds like a really, really cool idea. If we're gonna have one goofy area, it might as well be the area with the greenhouse and the apothecary. It just is really in theme with it, and I think it would look really cool down there. All right, so we haven't talked about goals in the world for a while now. Let's take the tavern, for example. It's got a very interesting roof that kind of cross sections like a plus sign almost, and then we have these little tiny windows up top like so. So then if we look at this toolsmith build, it's pretty different roof styles than the tavern. And then we can kind of look at the Gothic church style, and it's very different from those two builds we just pointed out. Finally, we have the barn. It's kind of like a curved shape up there. So what the heck is Sockie Poo getting at? Okay, I'll get on with it. Basically, I want almost every single roof that we do inside this world to kind of look different from the last. So it doesn't look like we're repeating patterns, and so that every build kind of feels like it's its own thing. The one exception to that rule is going to be towers. And I haven't pointed this out yet, but I did increase the length of the flag a couple episodes back, and nobody noticed. So that's my little tidbit on roofs. This one's going to be a little bit different than what we've done previously. And as for the greenhouse, it is kind of similar to the barn shape, but I did change it up a little bit so it wasn't exactly the same. Another reason why I point this out is that oftentimes us builders, us people who really care about building and being creative, we kind of get stuck in these patterns of doing the same things over and over again. And every single episode that we continue to do and going forward, I would like to continue to kind of do something a little bit different every single time that we all hang out together, because that sounds like a lot of fun to me. That's a really good way to not get bored with the game. Where are you freaking going? And while you guys weren't looking and listening to my very boring spiel on boredom, I went ahead and I finished the roof. That was sneaky. So overall, I'd say this build is about 95% done on the exterior. Now to note, there are several things that I'm a little unsure about. Number one, these are some super bright windows, if you ask me, and that's okay, but it does look a little cartoonish, and I know what you're gonna say, this is freaking Minecraft. I get that more than anybody, I swear. But the windows are super bright. Now I'm wondering if maybe I should go with, purple stained glass instead of white stained glass, because maybe that brings out the brightness in it. I don't know. I'm not a complete professional. That's something we can play around with for sure. Another thing I played around with was different heights for the windows. Now initially they were both on the same level as this bottom one, but I thought that looked a little bit weird, so I made them diagonal from each other. Now lastly, the most obvious is probably the glazed terracotta that's kind of doing a circular pattern on the roof. I said this build was going to be wacky and I meant it. I am happy with how this build looks, but it does feel like it's missing something, and I hate to say it, I think it could be leaves, and I was totally joking about doing that in the last video. I don't know if you guys caught the sarcasm when I said, oh, I'm just gonna cover it in leaves. I was totally kidding. I thought about even putting that in the video, that I was totally kidding. But it does feel like it's really missing something up there, and I don't want to just keep doing chimneys, because a decent amount of our builds do have chimneys, and that's a detail that I don't want to overdo. Just like adding a tower to every single house that we build, that's another thing that I'm not trying to do. You know, I was talking about earlier about switching things up, and this build definitely switches things up if you ask me. If this is the ugliest thing that I build in this entire world, so be it, but it's gonna be hard to top the one in the back that everybody really crapped on. In fact, I might put bird poop all over this build because that's how crappy this build is right here. Just some bird caca. Anyways, I'm gonna give you guys a nighttime shot of this build, and we're actually gonna go a little bit further away. I think the greenhouse looks amazing at night, but I'm so worried about the other part. I'm like actually worried about the apothecary being so bright that it looks like a cartoon or something. Like, the moon's in position. Let's get a gander at what we're looking at over here. Okay, I think it's a carrot, but I really like how this natural bridge looks with it in the background, and the Gothic church right next to it looks all really cool right next to each other. I still think it's missing something on the roof, but I really don't just want to keep doing fireplaces and... Okay, it's the next morning in real life. I've slept on it. Let's go take a look at it once again. Ooh, baby, it's looking pretty good. I really dig the position of both of these mushrooms, so I think maybe we'll do some custom mushrooms. I don't think that would be very, very hard to do and pull off, so that would be something really fun to work on. And I think it would really give this area a lot more character and really kind of make it stand out. Like, okay, this is the apothecary, this is the greenhouse, this is the place to go for all our nature needs, all our potion needs. Gonna look really, really fantastic. So before we wrap up today's episode, I just want to say thank you so much to all the new subscribers who have joined the channel since the last episode. We have 3 pages this time, which is almost a record. We hit 4 pages one time before. Can we do that again? And I just want to say, I'm on to you, Shane Biscuits. I know what you did. I'm just kidding. Shane's a really good guy. Or is he? Anyways, guys, I really appreciate you all coming to hang out again and watch the video. It really means a lot. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. And if you want your name featured in the book, make sure you have that setting flicked on so I can see your name and I can put you guys in the book. And with that, guys, I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye.